Yeah, lots of work, but show must go on.
Yes, sir, we're live.
Right. Namaste, ma'am. Manoj, and welcome to the learning experience conversation that we have every Friday with educators and education reformers like you. So, welcome. As you know, the format is that our co founder, Itu Chopra, would be having a conversation with you for the next 45 minutes or so. And then I'll join you again in the last 10. So, all the best. Take care.
Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste, Manoj, once again.
Namaskar. Good to see you.
And a very warm welcome to you. And I know I have pulled you out of a lot of your meetings today to have you with us this evening, about which we will talk later. But on Wednesday and Monday and Friday, we've started experience conversations to inspire, learn, and find lessons of inspiration from all our ex fellows, which are all across the world and the country. And I'm not going to spend any more time here in all of that. We are going to straight away dive into conversation and know more about your wonderful, wonderful journey in life and of learning. So, welcome once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Manoj, I'm going to start with let's go back into your childhood. Let's go back into your growing up years. Let's go back into your school and college. Tell us all about that part of your life.
Yeah. So see, childhood, as in I was born and brought up in Agra, which is a small town in UP, because my father, who was basically from Lahore, after partition, he migrated to India, as in came to India. And then probably he knew somebody in Agra and decided to make Agra as his base. And he was a practicing doctor. So he started his practice in Agra and started to establish himself. And we had 3 sisters, and we were all like born and brought up in Agra. Started, and we went to missionary school. And those days, in schools, there were very fewer children per class, and teachers were very friendly, and they were like, they will try to know their students better, because of course, smaller classes, more time, syllabus was limited, so things were different. So that is how I spent my mind. But I was, the life was more carefree. In summers, you would sleep on the terrace with your study table also on the terrace, and then you'll be studying and watching at the stars. So those were the days, carefree days, freedom. And I was by nature, very mischievous and very outgoing, like a tomboy. So I would be driving rickshaws or, flying kites and all sorts of things. But I was good in studies as well. But one incident I would like to tell you, when I was giving my board for 12. I too. Itu, can you hear me?
Itu ma'am is just joining us.
Sorry. I just...
Yeah, some problem with the net. Yeah.
Yes, the net is a bit slow at this end.
Yeah.
Today is going to be a memorable day that way.
Yeah, I can see that you are in transit somewhere. So, when I was giving my 12th board exam, it was a practical. And I was very confident, and, I did my practical very nicely and, completed everything and submitted. And when I came out, my answer was entirely different than the entire class. I said, but I have done it very well. I am correcting you all are wrong. When I went home and I told my father, I said, this is what it is, but I have done it. He says, how did you solve it? So when I was solving, I said, 2 2s are 2. He says, 2 2s are 4. I said, oh my God, 2 to the 4, and I started crying. But my father, he says, don't worry, you solve. And I solved it. She found out where the examiner was, went to that hotel and requested to see my daughter has done everything right, but only thing is in calculations, she has done 2 to the 2 instead of 4. You'll be kind
Right.
enough to,
Right.
this. And he was so
Right.
nice. The examiner said, okay, no problem. So those were the days, he said, okay, I'll put this, I can understand, it's a small little error. So those were the things. And then I wanted to become a lawyer, but
Okay.
but then, in Agra, the law classes were used to be in the evening, and all those failures would be going for the classes. And my father said, how can I send a girl for law? So instead, then I did my MSc in chemistry. And I said,
Right.
now I'll go to Bombay and work in a chemist, some pharmaceutical firm. Then my father said, how can I send you to Bombay?
Right.
So finally he said, no, you have to do B.Ed. So
Okay.
finally I landed
And
up
teaching
doing,
happened.
yeah, because he said, the girls must do B.Ed because every small town has schools. And if, God forbid, you need to work, then that will be a professional. So that is how, I finished my studies, MSc chemistry, then B.Ed, then later I did, of course, MA history also. And
Yeah.
so this is how my childhood was. And in between, I also did fine art diploma from Maharashtra. And also I was into NCC. Though in my co-educational college, I was the only girl. So I had to go to some other college to attend NCC classes because,
Yeah.
and they would say, कि make line. So we are surds. So I said, मैं तो सवा लाख के बराबर हूँ अकेले. तो मैं एक ही लाइन बना लेती हूँ. So that is how, I learned. And then, of course, I was very fond of, wearing stylish clothes. So I would, but then, the pocket money was limited. So I would stitch my own clothes and make my matching chappals and matching bags. So that,
Creativity.
all stitched.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is how life was simple and things were
Yeah,
simple.
I was going to say that only, Manojji, that life was so much simpler. You talk about sleeping on the terrace. All the cousins talking about holidays. I remember a very small part of my growing up was sleeping on the terrace. All cousins together, looking at the stars and talking about a lot of things. Life was so much simpler. But I think those stories of those simple times, of simple lives, are such an inspiration for children of today, because all those things seem like fairy tale, and because those experiences are not there with them anymore. So tell me, Manojji, when did teaching and all of that begin? Are you an accidental teacher, or you wanted to be a teacher, like it was a passion and all of that?
See, like I said, I always wanted to be a working person. That was for sure.
Yes.
But teaching came because my father said, no, you have no other option, but girls have to be teachers. So, so then that teaching came. And then when I got married, my husband, the first question my husband asked me was, he says, out of two of us, one of us has to have a career and one of us have to have a job. So you decide. If you want a career, then it'll be, army will be like a job for me, because somebody has to look after children if we have it, like family he was planning. I said, okay, and you have a career and I'll have a job. So that was the decision taken. And initially, of course, when children were born and they were small, then I didn't work, just doing army, welfare work and etc. But then I started my first job when my younger daughter was 2 years old, and I joined Sophia Convent in Meerut. And so in the morning, I will go to teach there. In the evening, I would join textile designing course and would print till 2 o'clock and put up my exhibitions. So, and do army course. So this is how, but eventually, when you start teaching, and then the best part too was that, I was never good at maths, but I had to teach science and maths. Because those days, like army officers' wives were preferred as teachers or in jobs. It was not difficult to get. So I was taking science and maths, but then because I had to teach math because I was weak, So I prepared, and I would teach so well that all children would be happy to learn maths from me. I think it would have lost the connection again.
Yeah. Sorry, Manojji. Sorry,
No,
sorry.
no.
I'm extremely sorry today.
No, no, what can you do? This is, even I was not very sure. I said, what will happen? Because see, my laptop conked off in the morning. So I borrowed
Okay.
from the school. The screen went off. So, so then I started teaching maths, and because I used to explain it so well, because I knew that when I was a child, I was not sure why we write, square or cube, But when I
Right,
explained
right,
to children, the weakest of the children would like to
right.
come to my class and attend classes, and she said we can't miss maths class. So this is how then your profession becomes your passion, because when you see
Absolutely.
that you are teaching and children are understanding and they are liking your teaching, so then it became like my passion. And then of course, from one place to another, we will get down new place again, start taking your biodata, look for jobs. We would move
I know.
every
Yeah,
calendar year,
yeah, yeah.
different
So,
schools.
Manojji, yeah, that way, the army life teaches you a lot. It teaches you malleability, ability, capability to kind of adapt yourself to different hues and malus and people and cultures and so many places. It gives you a lot of
Yeah.
flexibility as a person, and also adaptability quotient goes very, very high.
Yeah.
Manoj, you've also worked in events, media industry, and you've also worked for Crafts Council of India. You used to put
Yeah.
up exhibitions, so you
Yeah.
always have this creative flair. Tell us about that, Manoj.
See, when we came to Delhi in 1989, so I
Right,
took up a job again, teaching job. And then there was an advertisement which said that, looking for a hardworking, conscientious, honest person to work as administrative officer. So I
right,
said, okay, let me just go. I was very fond of reading ads. So I went for the job, and they
right,
said, have you ever worked? I said, no. So he says, then why have you come to apply for it? I said, because you said honest, conscientious, hardworking. I am all three of them.
right,
So you
right,
let me join. I'll work for 15 days. Either I'll quit
right,
if I don't like the job, and if I do it well, if I'm not working, if you think I'm not right, then you let me. So that is how I
right,
shifted from schooling to another finance company, and then from there into events company. And then we
right,
all over the world to do events. And then craft council, of course, there were a lot of craftsmen. So I used to hold this UNESCO Seal of Excellence award functions for them, meeting a lot of
right.
craftsmen. So it was very creative. But then it gives you a little kick. कि आपको create करना है, ये करना है, you keep thinking all the time, planning. So that is what I liked. And then I
And I
also.
think, yeah. So we at Rex, talk about that, hallmark of champions of change is that, they adapt, they learn art, they learn skills, and also are always open to learn, because life is like that. If you keep it on a learning mode, and learning to learn is what is the concept that we talk about at Rex, is very, very important for all of us, because till we go into the box, this is an analogy that Jerry uses, till you go into the box, you have to keep up your learning to learn. um, Manoj, then tell me more about your school in Agra, where you are an advisor, and you're also doing a lot of social work of giving. There is a lot of non-profit work that you're doing, and also about your NGO Roshni.
In the school, when I came to Agra, see, I was director of the elite modeling school, and then I was doing freelance events. And we came
Right,
to Agra. I was about
right,
57 years old, and then I didn't know what to do. I said I can't sit at home. Initially, I was taking projects and going to Delhi, coming back to Agra, and my husband was be there to receive me at the station. That was becoming a little too much for him. The trains were running late and things like that. So then this was the school, Sumit Rahul Goyal Memorial Senior Secondary School. It is run by a trust. And who are Sumit and Rahul?
Right.
These were two children of an industrialist from Batala. So they were visiting their grandparents in Agra. They were 13
Right.
years old and they died in an accident. And the grandfather started this school in the name of these children. And this is a school which is basically for children because they wanted to see so many children smiling and they would like to see their own lost grandchildren in those faces. So this is not
Right.
a making school, all money is spent on the school, on the children. So that is how
Right.
basically we have started the school in 91. But only thing is that now we want this to, change into a better school. So I joined and then the old principal was saying कि Mrs. Bal आप ये नहीं कर सकते वो नहीं सकते मैंने कहा I said हम तो सब कुछ करेंगे I said I'll do my best either I'll quit
Right.
or they will let me tell you to quit. So I
Right.
took up a challenge and gradually we changed teachers and made trained teachers and eventually in say 5-6 years time
Right.
this school now, of course, it is one of the good schools of Agra, the way we have to
Right.
remove admissions. But then again, when I joined my school, then one thing was lacking, the social work part of it and the environment part of it was nowhere there. It was just academics. So eventually, but I was lucky to meet Madhu. She had
Right.
also just shifted to Agra. And she helped me formulate our environmental calendar. So,
Yeah.
and then social work, of course, we started. So eventually the small children, like we do our that care and share program, each class from pre-nursery to class 12th, they collect one small item. So they
Right.
collect, when they collect, then we go to any like Ek Pahel or St. Patrick's, Peter's, parish church children. They also slum children studying there. We go there with these children. They do dramas, they do sing songs, and those children also sing songs, and they distribute these happy bags to those children. So this is how eventually we started creating this in children. Again.
Manoj, I'm back.
ठीक है.
Sorry about it. Extremely sorry.
No, perfectly fine.
Apologies.
It's okay. What can you do? This is digital problem.
ये यादगार conversation रहेगा हमारा Friday का. Making more memories. So you were telling us about Madhuji, but because Madhuji is our Rex Karambir Maharatna, she's been associated with us for more than a decade. Yeah. And she's also a very, very major part of our Rex Karambir Education Change Champions, in which your school and you were awarded and part of. So tell me more about the work, the giving part of the work that you're doing with school.
Yeah. So then Madhu helped us in forming our calendar. Now, and that calendar we carry to the T, and we have added much more. And then we take out rallies, anti-cracker rallies, or this one mouse, we do it very well. And of course, these social events also we have added. Take our children to these schools, they perform for them, do something for them. Or when we have school fete, we call children from these schools to come and join us. So we give them free coupons. So that is how eventually, I thought, in case out of 2,300 children, even we can inculcate these habits in 100 children.
Right.
So I think we have succeeded in doing somewhat, adding to the future generation.
Absolutely.
They are the future generation and they will take this forward. So,
right.
So that is, so my focus has not been inspiring others, but working the best of my capabilities. And then, if people get influenced, teachers get influenced, and it helps both of us. So I think this is how it is.
Yeah. So you've also been doing a lot of work with your Roshni NGO, where you are the president, and also the Ashna NGO, and all of these. All of these work, you work towards empowering and, towards girl child students and, empowering the girls with academic know-how, and also a lot of other things. I'd like you to share that part of your work with all of us.
See, Roshni, I'll tell you, my father's name was Dr. Roshan Singh Sodhi. And
Yes.
he was a social activist, leading social activist of Agra. He used to work for the destitute women, and he
Right.
used to work with the prisons. And I know that some of the girls who would run away and then the parents will not take them back. I saw my father putting them in the St. John's College Davis Hostel, completing the
Right.
education and giving an advertisement for shadis. And in our
Right.
own house, we'll have shadis of these girls. So
Right.
this is how, we have seen right from the beginning, this, and also the religious sect that faith that we believe in, Radhaswami faith, there also, we do a lot of voluntary work. As in every day,
Right.
2 hours in the morning, we go for field work. And then, doing so many other things, teaching, spoken English or soft skills to children. So all this, eventually, and also missionary school helped. So when
Right.
we came to Agra after retirement, the first thing I did was join my post-graduation in theology, because I didn't know how to pass my time. And then
Right.
joined the school. And then my elder sister, who is also big time into social work, she says,
Right.
I always wanted to make a trust now that we are free. Not that we have a lot of
Right.
money, but whatever little we have, let's. So in the name of my father, we started this trust, whereby we give scholarships to girls. And this year we started the Sukanya scholarship also. And
Right.
then we raise funds for Ek Pahel, or
Right.
those the other children. So this is how Roshni came into. And then we conduct classes for the women, soft toy making or stitching or embroidery. And then later on, sometimes we take orders from schools for making costumes. So we make these
Right.
women stitch costumes for them or bags for
Right.
them.
Right.
Soft toys we make and put up exhibitions. But this year, because of COVID, there has been, see, Agra has this culture of a lot of exhibition during these festival times. So
Right.
to
Right.
NGOs, they give a stall. So where you can display your stuff, and this is how we help out these. So this is how Roshni came in, and this is how these small things. And also, I wanted to tell you one more thing, that
Please.
uh, 4 or 5 domestic helps who worked with us, with my father. And in our shadi, I got one boy to work for me, and my elder sister got one boy to work for her. But we managed to teach them, educate them, 8th,
Right.
10th, whatever, and they all
Right.
were put into government jobs. So,
Right.
in fact, my last Nepalese servant, his wife is working for my daughter, and their
Right.
daughter is doing PhD in Australia.
Wonderful.
So at least those 4 or 5 boys are all into government jobs. So the children are studying, and so naturally in their villages they are like big shot, because at least whatever job they have, at least they're better off than just
True.
being nothing.
True.
So social work has been, this is part of life. It is the things that we had to, be forced to do it. So,
Yeah.
but so Roshni
So,
bhi ban gayi, or Ashiana also, we do
yeah.
similar works. है ना?
That's very inspiring, Manojji. And we at Rex believe that we should try and leave a legacy behind by creating a better world from what we came into. And I think these are the sanskar, or these are the learnings that as a child we learn, and they come into being, or they come into practice when we grow up. Like you said, that you grew
Yeah.
up with that kind of a thing, seeing your father
Yeah.
work for the underprivileged and things like that.
Huh.
Another thing that you've been talking about is, which we celebrate at Rex a lot, is resourcefulness, because resourcefulness is a power. You may have very little resources, but if you have resourcefulness, then nothing
Yeah.
can stop you. Like, it's visible and palpable in the work that you have been doing, always learning, always doing something.
Yeah.
Manoji, I'd like to really ask you and share with us that you have this mindset of learning and taking up new ideas, taking up new things every few years. You have been recreating, innovating yourself, and always learning. um, Tell us about this, this part of your life where you're always learning and doing something new. for yourself and also for social good.
Actually, this is like God's gift, because the ideas come in a jiffy. They will come with a problem and I will give them a solution. They will come with a problem and I'll give them somehow, and I have been learning. As in, the first thing is that, wherever I go, I learn from the basics. So if there is a photocopying to be done, I'll do photocopy. If there's typing to be done, I'll do it myself. As a result, I'm all the time. I remember my husband, he would say, "Ye type kar de, ye type kar de." Maine kaha, "Nahi, bad. You sit and you type." So, and I will sit with you. So this is how, I learned like typing and computers. I've never gone to any computer institute to learn, but somehow I can make my presentations. I can do my own typing and I can do my own drafting. Hindi, of course, typing is difficult. I can't do. I'm trying to learn on the thing. But after theology, again, I said I didn't want to sit. And these days, my children said, "Ma, you're all the time doing social work and your school work, which is like, but then why don't you do something for your own self?"
Right.
So then a friend suggested that in army we play mahjong, but because of COVID we are not able to play. And there is another army officer's wife. She started an online classes of international American mahjong. Why don't you join that? So it's a tender.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'll take out time. So I said, so I joined. These days I'm taking those mahjong classes. And
I know at the you away from your mahjong class today.
no, I joined for half an hour. There's a network problem, so I said I'll join tomorrow. So
Yes, I know. And I pushed you into leaving your mahjong class on Friday.
But it was last but one day, so I've done quite a bit. So now I'm teaching. Then I'm teaching some more, girls in Delhi, Agra, so that if they're interested, then we could online. We can fix up our time and online we can play. So I've started teaching. In fact, my chairman's wife, I've started teaching since yesterday. Another friend.
So we'd like to tell the viewers that Mahjong is a board game which was popularized in India by the British. And it is not that popular in the army. It used to be very, very popular till about 80s, I would say, in the army. Every army wife knew and would take out about 3-4 hours in the day to go and play Mahjong. But now Mahjong has become something that very few people in the army also know. And very few people around the it's a difficult, intelligent game. It's a very difficult, intelligent game. I never got down to learning it, to playing it. But I know a lot of people who would spend a lot of time. It's also a very passionate game. Isn't it? Tell us more about it. Since you're a veteran in the game.
I am not. I was never a very regular player, but I knew it because in army, smaller towns, then you need a foursome.
Right.
So then you have to know it. So after till 89, smaller towns, what happened during our time, most of the army guys never used to work. So they would have, mahjong sessions, and then officers are playing golf, and the ladies are in the golf course sitting playing mahjong, and in the evening there'll be tea, and then you will go home. So it was, lifestyle was a little different. Money was not that much, but lifestyle was different, and quality of life was very good. So, but it is a game of 144 tiles. But this American mahjong is a game of 152 tiles. There are 8 more jokers, and about 40. And they're making out, different different hands. The hands are made like paplu, like that rummy 14 cards or 13, 14 cards. But these are tiles. But I thought it is good to play because then it will have your gray cells moving, working. So yes. So then your memory will be intact. So this is how it is. So let's see if I'm able to influence some more people in Agra to play, so we can have our own group eventually. So
online, Manoj.
Yeah, and this friend of mine who is teaching us, she has been able to get about 55 plus 12 of us are doing this course. So every month she runs course for 12 ladies, and now she says I've got one student, and she taught this free from Singapore also. So she said I have to shift time. So she's making a league. So once we make a league, then probably, the ladies from Mau, and then the ladies from Pune, from Bombay, from Delhi.
Great.
then you
That
would
that sounds very interesting.
I
That
said, so
sounds very interesting.
and then you get to know more people, you know.
Absolutely. So, Manojji, tell me that, in all your work, this full of life, always learning. Tell me, this is very contagious energy, I would say. So, how does it boil down to this volunteering and giving work in the that passes on to the girls in your school?
Yeah, see, that is true. See, if you are energetic, see, I plan my day, and when I go to school, so everybody says Mrs. Bal has come. So everybody is attentive because they know that, and then I give tasks because I'm very project oriented. So I have to go from project to project to project. I can't sit idle. So you'll be surprised in our school, though during
Hmm.
COVID times also, um, we had our event calendar, like inter-house
Right.
competitions and our environment calendar, but we are carrying on with all of that. We are carrying on
I
with
was
all
going
of
to
that.
ask you, that was my next question, that how is it going during the COVID times when everything is shut, but teaching is going on, education is going on, it's going on online. Tell us all about that.
See, it was very tough initially for us because, see, we said, how can we have online classes? Because, see, our children, most of them, like, they come from middle class background, and not all of them have so many smartphones, and not most of them have laptops. So that was a very challenging. So we started with WhatsApp groups per class, and we started making videos and putting it on the WhatsApp. And then
Right.
eventually we shifted to Zoom. And then we our classes go on from morning till evening, because see, the parent has got one phone, so he has two children or three children, so we will have, say, 8:30, 11:30, 11:30 to say 2 o'clock, and then 3:30 to again. So like that we shifted, and now finally for the past 2 months we have got an app which is known as Hello app, on which we are working. Exams are going on, so it was
Right.
really challenging. And then more challenging was that the peace was not coming, and
Right.
we didn't want to, tell any teacher that you don't have a job. So all teachers are intact. So then somehow we manage. I said we all have to keep them busy. So in the evening, we run these hobby classes online for dance, for yoga, for music, for different classes, so that all
Right.
teachers are occupied and the management doesn't feel bad in paying them the salary. So I say we have to take everybody along. So
True.
it was tough, but we have somehow managed. Um, to the best, so that we are managing our environmental calendar, we are managing inter-house competitions, and we do our 2nd October and 15th August, everything online. And teachers make videos of their various sections, middle school and primary and pre-primary. So touchwood, I think we have, and fortunately for us, see, our parents come from the surrounding areas. We don't have buses and things like that. So now lately we have started telling them, okay, you certain days they put their copies in the school, we sanitize them, keep them for 2-3 days, and then teachers check them and give it back to them. So a lot of work and a lot of hard work by teachers, but somehow we have managed. But we have evolved, innovated, and come out of the tough times.
Yeah.
Mm.
And yeah, I think this was, COVID times. I think teachers and students have really, really tried to be very
Yeah,
creative, innovative, and learn.
yeah,
I'm in the hills for about 2 days. And in the morning, when I was going for a walk, I saw a teacher go on a scooter. She had her own son with her, but she was stopping, after we were walking for an hour, and every 15 minutes I would see there were one or two students standing at distances. She was coming, she was talking to them, showing them some papers and things like that, and she was going from place to place. So I found that so heartwarming and endearing. There was nobody on the road. I'm in a place, there are not many
yeah,
people around, but the students had come down to meet their teacher, and teacher was talking to them, telling them, um, this is the time when a lot of creativity and innovation has come in. And the schools,
absolutely.
the teacher, the education fraternity has been very, very heroic in their
Absolutely.
learning concepts and
True.
recreating concepts.
Absolutely. See, our teachers, didn't even know computers at one point of time. So I make them join to learn computers. That was 5-6 years back. So they all could
Yeah.
type their papers. And now we have to train them on the digital classes and sharing and making PPTs. And some of them, beautifully do it on their phones also.
Right.
And a lot of webinars.
Right.
So a lot of learnings, and they are happy also that they have learned so many new things, and they are more competent, and they have managed these tough times.
Yes.
So, and I myself did 7 courses of Oxford online training courses, gender
Wonderful.
sensitization, and um, role plays in history, and how to teach geometry. So 7-8 courses I also did.
How
So
brilliant. How
then
brilliant.
I made PPTs and I sent it to my teachers. I said, now you
How
learn.
brilliant. I think, the downtime in life or the vulnerability in time when we are very, very vulnerable, when we are absolutely breaking down, and here there is a collective breakdown.
Yeah.
The only thing is to, see what is the learning, how can we make the best of it, and then move forward. Manoj, I'm wanting to ask you one question. In the last month or 15, 20 days, and you have all girls around with you in your school and all that, there is a very alarming and very shocking and very fearful piece of news coming from around the country, especially from UP, about girls being raped, about this lawlessness, this fear, and things like that. What is it that you think is in your teaching, or in in your capacity with the girls, that you try and bring in a shift, and what's your take on that? And this is going to be my last question before I bring in Jerry back into the conversation.
The thing is that, I've read all of this, but then you are very right. We have to do something. But what we try to do with our girls is like UP police has also formed a team whereby, they train these teachers and call them some angels, where they, teach other girls to be bold. And see, basically, we have to educate our girls not to be cowed down and not to get into the traps of these people. And they have to be secure themselves. See, we have to look after ourselves. We can't have other people, doing this. Only that we can educate them, teach them, and to be confident, to be self, sufficient, and to be bold, and to be cautious all the time. See, aren't we so cautious with our own girls when they go out? We are किसके संग जा रहे हो, कैसे आओगे, कहाँ जाओगे, हमें बताना, फोन नंबर देके जाना, ऑटो रिक्शा के फोटो खींचना, टैक्सी का फोटो खींचना. So, and mobiles are helpful too. So,
But Manoj ji, आपको ऐसा नहीं लगता that rather than teach our girls, we have to teach our boys, and we have to teach our society?
see, society, of course, but then this we have to start. This is like drop in the ocean. We have to start off with that. But how long will it take? And but since we are not working with the boys, so we are only working for empowerment of women. But
Right.
I suppose, but then we have started doing for our, see, ours is a co-educational institute. So for boys also, we have started giving some classes. We have a counselor, and we get some other people to teach them how, that they, that self-discipline, and how they should not be getting into this. So gradually, I think you are right. We have to educate boys as well. Boys have to be educated more than the girls. But since we are dealing with more with girls, so we think of their safety, security. But I'm sure,
I feel in these times, bringing up boys is more tough than bringing up girls, because the right set of mindset you have to kind of bring about and all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's a tough call, but it's a very, very sad state that we are in, and you are in also in UP, so that's why I wanted to ask you.
So we were never allowed to go late at night. Now still, if I have to go to my sister's house, Mrs. कैसे आओगी, साथ में servant आएगा, गाड़ी कौन चलाएगा, how will you go back?
So, but we are told to live in fear and be cautious all the time.
Yes,
it's not fine. I mean, I'm not happy with that. I'm not fine with that.
But when you go to Pune, when we went to Pune, we saw girls going for night shows on their scooters, and they were confident and independent. They could move around. But
I think we'll keep this conversation forward. I'm going to join, invite Jerry back into the conversation and take our conversation forward.
Nice talking. Jerry's back.
Yes, Jerry.
Namaste, ma'am. Namaste.
Good to see you back again.
Yes, and
all 3 towns and 3 people.
Yes.
Good.
So I realized that we were talking about the safety and security of girls last.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think since you work with girls in your educational institutes and the say several NGOs that you kind
Yeah.
of work with, and you're also a army man's wife, and right. And I had the opportunity of engaging with some of your people last year for the anniversary event. Uh, what do you feel about what is happening in the country right now with all these rapes and crimes against women? Crimes which are not crimes because no rape has happened, and and when you give a entire statement like that, that no rape has happened because some untouchable girl got killed and raped. How does it matter, right? Parasites, they're germs. Let it be. What are your insights on this, ma'am?
I think firstly, I think all the people who are in that position who give comments and statements, I think everybody has to be honest.
Right,
And if they're honest, I think the culprits will have to be caught and they have to be taught lesson. Penalties
right,
have to be higher.
right,
If there is no fear, um,
right,
then nobody's bothered because they know they can get away. I think we
right.
have to penalize them. That is, and
Absolutely.
also educate them.
Absolutely. And currently the rhetoric, if you see it, if you see on social media, the rhetoric is that the BJP guys are brazenly bold because, they've gotten away with crimes and now they're saying there's no crime. In fact, the UP government has now, I don't know if you know of this, they have hired a PR agency called Concept PR. And I
I
wonder whether I wonder whether these people who are founders and managing directors of Concept PR have daughters at home or not, right? Because
very sad.
this PR agency is now going to cover up the entire thing and whitewash the entire rape, that a rape never happened. Because, well, how does it matter? I mean, she's not a star or a goddess, right? So she's just a
No,
Dalit
no.
girl.
The value for the life should be there. Every life
Do,
is
do you
is
think
precious.
that value for life is there in India?
It is
You
not
saw
there, but it should be there.
you saw how we treated the migrant labor when the
Oh,
exodus happened, right?
yeah, yeah. We were distributing masks. We were distributing food on the highways. Like the para brigade also. They collected, and it was pathetic. It was sad, and I
Right.
could have stopped watching news.
Yes. Now the thing is that the rhetoric right now is against BJP and because they are the ruling government. But if you remember, let me take you back around 2012, 8 years ago, almost 8 years ago, December 2012, another heinous crime happened against a woman, which later on became popular as the Nirbhaya incident,
Yeah.
right? The girl's name is Jyoti Singh Pandey, right? And Jyoti was raped in a bus by scoundrels. They were not upper caste guys, right? They were just, local gundas. So justice happened. But now in Hathras, upper caste guys have raped a lower caste girl, so called upper caste. I don't believe in this nonsense called
The
caste,
past week.
right? Like some Brahmin has fallen from Brahma's head, all
Yeah.
nonsense, right? But anyway,
Right.
that is the belief system and the limitations that we live with. But even when Nirbhaya happened, that time Congress party was ruling, if you remember.
Yeah.
And Sheila Dikshit was the chief minister. A woman was the chief minister. And yet there were water cannons used against students who were protesting against the rape. So any government, they're all the same. They don't give a damn about people and value for life.
Yeah, yeah. So they all try to, hide things and, wash away things. That is true. But this is the sad part. I think we have to call a spade
Right.
and,
But
admit
but the, but
that
the
is,
but the bigger insight and the bigger learning is now that when the government leaders who are the supposed to be the leaders of the country are setting bad examples for children and youth to see that they are covering up rapes, hushing up crimes against women, right? And saying a rape never happened, those boys are still scot free, right? Then don't you feel that you're actually kind of
you feel helpless,
encouraging
you
and
want to,
encouraging men to think that they can get away with rape,
quite right. That's what
right?
I'm saying. We have to admit and we have to have penalties, and unless we do that. But only thing is that, there are a handful of people who would like to join in this kind of, sort of events that, isko karna hai, so we all have to join in, and then, it should become a national
Now, if you see
kind of a
today,
cause. But I
today,
don't know when till that time comes.
today there is some joker who, of course, has got encouragement from what is happening in UP, thanks to this jackalls like Yogi and Modi, and some chap called Vijay Ghadavi, who calls himself a Thor fan. He has sent out a threat on social media because Chennai Super Kings is losing. He has threatened to rape Dhoni's 6-year-old daughter.
I didn't read that.
This is what I just
Very
got to
sad.
know a little before
Look at that.
we met on this panel, right?
This
Now,
is height of indecency, and how can you be so
no, but I don't blame
sad?
this. I don't blame this Gada who's called Vijay Gadavi. I mean, he's a Gada who's following Gadas like Yogi and Modi, because Yogi and Modi are covering up rapes. They want to whitewash with PR agencies that, in the international community, India should not look bad. But you are encouraging youngsters like Vijay Gada to say that you want to rape a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of decency is left in our society if we have come down to this? Can we even talk? I mean, these guys are the same idiots who talk about being Hindutva and Hinduism is the best religion. Is this your religion? Is this your
No,
religion? On
no.
one side,
Humanity should be your religion.
you worship goddesses like Durga and Lakshmi. Of course, Lakshmi is the most worshipped because she brings in the money. Saraswati never gets worshipped.
Money.
But on one side, you worship goddesses. On the other side, you're saying you'll rape a 6-year-old girl. What is this? But society is at the end of the day a reflection. I mean, the politicians are a reflection of society. So it's a catch-22 question again. Are the politicians wrong, or have we gone wrong as a people? What are your insights on this?
I think as people, I think we also, must, voice our opinion. Why can't media be so strong in these kind of, why can't they make it into a
most media has
kind of
not even covered the Hathras incident, ma'am. Most media has not even covered
because
the
ये तो
Hathras.
TRP, because see, वो TRP नहीं मिलती, and then probably they are not allowed to do it. I don't know. I don't go into much of politics, but on the humanitarian ground, I feel all this is wrong, and we must do something. And
Well,
as citizens of India, I think we have to raise our voices and form our opinion and fight against these, so that if not now, maybe few years from now, gradually we can get some kind of success in this.
absolutely,
You
and
can't blame anyone. All
absolutely.
parties must be the same.
And it's not just politicians who are to blame. We are all to blame as a society, because while this is happening, we are still busy, following IPL and Netflix, and all that is good. But we have to pay, because it's become a habit for us to live in apathy. We don't have.
Yeah, कि चलो हो गया हाँ,
हो गया. We are indifferent to it, right? देखा जाएगा. But what happens when it happens to your daughter? Right?
Yeah,
what happens when it
that
happens
is
to
true.
my daughter? You would understand this because you have 2 daughters, ma'am. So
and we are 3 sisters and I have 2 daughters.
So
And then you
it's a matter of
understand.
time before it comes home, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And he too has
I
one
think
daughter, and
it's high time.
But even our sons are not safe. I mean, Gurgaon has boys getting raped. But at the same time, how do people speak out? Because on the other side, you have
actually now to wo bhi.
right. On the other side, you're saying people should speak out, but how do people speak out when Yogi brazenly says that if you do anti-rape speeches or anti-rape posts on social media, you will be arrested for sedition? How does this become sedition? So I think
they have to educate they have to educate their lot also, and everybody has to be should be some qualification, some education to these people who are in that position. I don't want to name people.
Right.
But this is very sad. Actually,
yeah,
sad.
it is, and I think it's
it could happen to anybody. COVID can happen to anybody. Rape can happen to anybody's daughter.
Absolutely, and by the time we wake up that it could happen to us or it happens to us, it might be too late to address it.
Yeah,
which I don't know when the people will awaken, because we keep saying we are a young democracy. This is 75 years old now. What a young democracy, right?
Yeah, and look at Singapore, Malaysia.
Yeah, so
they all have
it's a complete mess. And
Yeah, I think we have become a little self-centered. So probably each person to oneself. So nobody is concerned about, you know, people at large. So everybody is thinking of their own. कि चलो मेरा हो गया ना, फिर चलो देखते हैं. Maybe somewhere down the line we all have to be more aware, and each life become precious, and then we must, raise our voices.
absolutely.
But let's see.
And
We will try.
on a concluding note, I'm just going
Yeah.
to share this one thing, and it'll sound like I'm being too gloomy and doomy, but the whole idea is that none of us are safe. Our sisters, our daughters, our wives, even our mothers are not safe, because 80-year-olds get raped in their homes.
Yeah, yeah. Such
And
frustrated lot around.
it shows you what a frustrated society we have become. And then you have learned judges like Markande Katju, who try to justify this by saying that the rapes are happening because people are not educated or people are not employed. I think that's all complete bunkum, because you can't try to justify something like this, right? Because these are the same upper caste guys who are sitting outside that girl's house and challenging news media people that, who are you to tell us anything? We are the high caste Rajputs, we are the Thakurs. So it has nothing to do with education or unemployment. It has everything to do with male ego, patriarchal mindset.
Yeah.
And I think none of them are safe. So especially since you run so many schools for girls, etc., I think one can only be cautious and take care, because
Yeah, we are cautious, like if there is a lady clerk working in the office, we make sure that one of the senior person stays there, till the time she goes. If it is night time, she should be dropped. So all other things that you have to be worried about.
absolutely, absolutely. So that's it. And on that note, thank you so much. Lovely learning from you once again. Great insights that were shared on the conversation.
It was very
So, there
nice.
any closing insights from you and Itu? I'll wrap up over there. Thank you.
Any closing thoughts, Manoj, you would like to leave our audience with?
See, the only thing I would like to tell people is that you have to be honest to yourself and work selflessly and be solution oriented. So if you're honest to yourself, then whatever work you do, will be right and in the right direction. So this is what I would like to do.
And I'd like to say in the last, in our ex Karamveer movement, we say, right every wrong. Together as one, we can right every wrong. I think we need to raise
Yes.
ourselves, we need to get sensitive, and we need to work towards all the wrong in the country and in the society as if it was happening to us, as if it was happening
Actually,
to me. Only then we can talk
yeah.
about it, because we as a society, or we as a democracy, have the right to speak
Yeah.
against what's happening wrong. So we must exert our right together and try and bring about
And
change.
create more awareness about this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right.
Okay,
Thank you
ma'am.
so much,
Thank you so
Manoj.
much, Manojji. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
See
It
you. Bye
was
bye.
nice. It was a good to meet all of you on digital.
Yes, we'll surely meet very soon again.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much. Bye bye.
much. Namaste.